Hey everybody, my name is Trevor Spires with howtoNSX.com, and today I got a quick one for you, but a cool one. I want to show you one of the probably biggest enhancements that VMware made to the NSX platform with the 3.1 release. I want to show you the brand new intrusion prevention feature set added into the distributed IDS and IPS in NSX-T. So really, this is a landmark change. The IDS has been included in NSX for a really long time now, coming up on almost a year actually. But the prevention capability was missing for a while, and now we can not only detect and alert on malicious signatures and traffic on our network, but we can stop those packets in their track even before they leave the virtual machine and hit the V switch. So we can really stop malicious traffic almost before it ever existed. Like it can exist in the guest OS, and it can be dropped right there on the virtual wire within ESXi, even blocking malicious attacks happening between two VMs living on the same ESXi host. So needless to say, that's pretty cool because it eliminates a lot of blind spots that exist in modern IDS IPS technologies because it's difficult to get that level of visibility anywhere other than inside of the hypervisor, which is where NSX operates. So let's get started. I'm excited to show you some of the changes. So I'm logged into my NSX lab. I'm going to go ahead and navigate to my distributed IDPS tab. Right off the bat, you're going to see just kind of a heat map of attacks, right? This is what the IDPS generally looks like. I'm just going to show you really what the change is that I'm talking about here. I don't want to demo the whole IDS, but so I've got a really simple rule in my ADS. It's a blanket rule that my rule says, hey, screw it. We're going to inspect everything, and the profile that I use even includes everything. So this is not necessarily best practice. This is not a well-tuned NSX IDPS, but it'll work for the cases of this demonstration. Profiles, right? This is where you actually determine what signatures that you want to inspect against on that rule that you create for the IDS. Really, the thing I want to show you here is this. The change that has happened in NSX is that now when I create a profile, I'm actually given the option to set particular signatures to drop or reject from just alert. It used to only be alert. Now we do include a default recommendation for all of these, but now we can actually come in and do an implicit drop, which I'll show you. That's something that I've done. I went ahead and so right now there are two big attacks that people hear a lot about. Emotet is one. Attack groups or attacks, I guess I should say. Emotet is one, and what is the other one? Trickbot is the other. So I've gone ahead in my environment and said, hey, anything that's Emotet or Trickbot, I'm going to explicitly drop that. You can also do reject. Just as an FYI, the difference between those two is that the drop packet, the drop action, we're literally just dropping the packet. It's just going to get black holed, and we're not going to notify the sender that it was dropped, where reject will actually send a TCP reset back to the source of that traffic. So just something to note. I've set it to drop. Sometimes you want to set it to reject to stop that endpoint from trying to continue the session. It can be a little bit more efficient. Downside of reject is that now the endpoint knows that an IDS has dropped it for sure because they were sent that reset packet. So, okay. I think we're good. I've showed you that I've set some of these to drop. That's really the main thing I wanted to show you. And by the way, this thing has a lot of signatures, right? I think so. We reference a database that is constantly being updated with signatures. I've included like 13,000 signatures. It can seem like, wow, why would I? That kind of sucks. Like I don't want to go through and change actions for 13,000 signatures. You don't need to do that, right? They make it really simple because, for example, I can come in and say, hey, only show me Trojans, right? So I can filter before I start changing actions, or I could even get even more specific and filter on the CVE, the vulnerability, the severity, the product affected. So that's kind of what I've done, right? I knew specifically that I wanted to show people that this IDS can drop Trickbot. So if I filter on Trickbot, then I've only got 13 of these signatures to edit here, right? So it's easy to search, easy to make these changes. It's not like you're combing through 13,000 signatures, right? Okay. So I have showed you how I've configured that in the drop action that I set for Emotet and Trickbot signatures. So now I want to show you that in action. So what I've done before I popped over here, and I can even run it again right now, is I ran a TCP replay attack, and this is actually, it's basically just executing PCAP files that hold malicious signatures. So we'll see those pop on the IDS. If I go back to my IDS, what I'm going to see, there's going to be some attacks rolling through. I can click into these and learn more. But what I want to do is, instead of showing everything, I want to show you the stuff that I've dropped, right? Like I mentioned, this drop and reject action are really the new pieces of the puzzle here. So I'm going to filter only on drop traffic, and what I hope that we see is, look at that. I'm dropping a lot of those TCP replay packets that are related to either Emotet based attacks. So these are signatures that have been identified as something that is possibly or probably an Emotet based attack, or some Trickbot based signatures as well. Like I showed before, all I had to do was go through into my profile and ensure that those sort of signatures were set to drop. And now, instead of just being alerted, these packets are dropped in their path, right? These will never hit your network. It's almost as if they never existed because they're being dropped by NSX IDS. And would we drop that packet if these were two VMs sitting inside of the same host, launching an attack on one another? Absolutely, we would. We get that level of visibility because we integrate with ESXi, and we get that visibility at the VNIC level before the packet actually hits the vSwitch or physical switch on your network. I hope this was helpful. It kind of goes without saying, right? This is an exciting time for security in relation to NSX. This is really just the tip of the spear, I feel. VMware has made a couple of pretty excellent security acquisitions over the last couple of years. With Lastline is a great company that is really focused on integrating with NSX in the near term, and Carbon Black, also a great endpoint security solution, really complementing what we can already do today with the NSX IDS and IPS solution. So the only other thing that I want to mention about the NSX IDS IPS while I'm talking about it is this. It's worth noting, right? One of the biggest challenges to an IDPS system is that it can be pretty darn hard to deploy. You have to either buy a license from your firewall vendor to enable it, which cuts a lot of your throughput capabilities down. It's a lot of processing power, and then on top of that, it can be challenging to deploy. You have to insert it on your network somehow. So one of the major benefits of this sort of distributed solution that's integrated with your hypervisor is that it's kind of just point, click, turn it on, right? I don't have to rack and stack any boxes. It's really just it's a feature of a platform versus us having a specific IDS solution. So to enable it, you simply say, I would like to enable that on my VDI cluster. As an example, I click the toggle switch and I enable. It really is that simple. And once it's enabled, any of the rules that I have configured, any VMs on that cluster will start inspecting against, and you'll start either dropping or alerting on the traffic that is identified by the deep packet inspection engine in the NSX IDPS. As always, I hope this was useful for you. If you have any questions, please feel welcome to reach out to me directly, either via LinkedIn or email if you know my email, or certainly my website or YouTube channel. I tend to monitor those pretty closely as well. So thank you for your time. Have a happy holidays and happy software-defined whatever it is that you're doing. All right. Bye, everybody.